use headphones for best experience. Thanks for your fantastic support. First, let me show you that there are more new content here on audio streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music and other platforms. So if you want to listen to my content audio only, check out these platforms and search for ASMRctica, ASMR, and you will find a lot of new albums here. But let's move on to the next one. It's also one from the elder Futhark that didn't make it to the younger Futhark. It's Wynn, and this one, together with the Thorn, or Thurs, but then later named Thorn, actually made it to one version of the Latin alphabet. So they were originally from the runes, but then they were in the Latin alphabet. The Old English Latin alphabet had the Wynn letter for quite some time, but then it was replaced by W instead. So it's a W sound, a W sound, and it was called Wynn Joy. And the poem, anglo-saxon rune poem, goes like this: When brúdshed the kan wena lyt. Sares and sorge and him sylfa haif. Blade and blyse and ek. Byrga genit. So venne is a form of win, joy. Brúdshed is enjoyed. Those those who can. Vena lyt. Lyt is little, lite, in Swedish, little in English. Vena is woe. Woe as in great trouble. Not completely sure how to pronounce it. I think it's a quite old-fashioned word. But it means that. Maybe it's like but it comes from that word, so you can see it starts with the same letter, w, but then the vowels have been changed. Maybe it has to do with the inflection of the word. Sares is pains. Sorge is sorrow. Sorge I can recognize from Swedish. Sorg. It's almost the same. Sylfa. It's themselves. In Swedish, själv. I can see it derives from this word, or it's related to this word. Sylfa. Self. Yeah, self in English. Själv in Swedish. Haif. It's have. old form in Swedish. Blide is profit. Blysse is bliss. Ek is also, and I can see that it has to do with the Swedish word och. Och is and, but it's also, I think the old meaning was like you added something, och. Something that increased. Also, too, like those two words have been in the past have also been called och in Swedish. So ek, to me it looks like it's related to the Swedish och and also. Byrga is citadel. Borg. Borg is a castle, fortification in Swedish. Borg is in Icelandic city, I think. So this is an old word that has different meanings now in different languages, but clearly to me it's from that word, Byrga, citadel. Genit, I'm not sure what it means. Maybe it means many. So, joy is enjoyed by those who little know of woe, pains and sorrow, and to those who have of themselves profits and bliss, and also many citadels. Next rune will be Hagall. This is the elder Futhark version of it, oldest version, with two parallel strokes in the middle like this. Another version had only one single stroke, but a bit slanted. Should be. And this rune evolved quite a lot and had different shapes. First it became like this, because in the younger Futhark you didn't want two vertical strokes, you wanted only one on all the runes. So then somehow these lines were crossed and placed like this over just one vertical line. Hope you can see. And then it was simplified even more in the later younger Futhark. To have just a small dot or dash in the middle. Many runestones in Sweden it looks like this, because they are mostly from the 11th century. Hagall means hail, as in the frozen rain, the precipitation. And let me read the Icelandic version of this rune poem, Hagall. Hagall kalda korn och krabpadriva och snaukna sot. Yeah, Hagall is hail. It's Hagall in Swedish. Very clear. Kalda korn, that's cold seed. Kald, cold. Korn is seed in Swedish as well. Small grain, small seeds, it's small corn. So it's not just corn, maize, corn. It has a wider meaning in Swedish. Krabpadriva. Driva is maybe shower. I have seen a translation, but it should be shower. But when I hear driva, I think of a snowdrift, a driva of snow. That's in Swedish, that we called pile of snow. It's a driva. Snowdrift. And krabba. In Icelandic, I have found the meaning of krabbi. That's wet slush. So it's also some type of precipitation. From its, so I think it has to do with this wet slush. And okay, shower I have read, but to me it sounds more like it's in a snowdrift, all this sleet. And snaukna, that's the snakes or the serpents. You can say snake very clearly. Snok is one type of snake in Swedish. Sot, that's illness. When you are infected by something, it's to be ill. Sotdöden was a type of death that no Viking wanted to have. I have read now, and I have been reading a bit about the old sagas. As I said, they wanted to die in battle, to go to Valhalla. No one wanted to get too old and die by old age, and that type of dying was called sotdöden, because then you got an illness eventually and died because of that. So sot is an old Nordic word for illness, and I kind of recognize it, or I do recognize it. It was used in the past. I can hear it in, like, I can recognize it from Old Swedish, sot. Farsot. It's like, yeah, when many people get, yeah, pandemic, something like that. So hail is cold seed, and sleet shower or sleet snowdrift, and a snake's illness. And the snake's illness is actually, you should read it as a whole expression, because it's a kenning. So I don't know from which saga or which myth, but it means cold weather when you say the snake's illness. Snaukna sot. The Norwegian rune poem about Hagall is Hagall kaldastur korna, Krister skop heimen forna. So again, hail is the coldest of seeds. The verb form, or not verb, what is it? Adjective. Kaldastur. I recognize from Swedish. Kallast. And when I think about it, I recognize it from English too. Coldest. Cold, colder, coldest. Kaldastur korna. Then it jumps to a line when it talks about Christ. Krister skop heimen forna. Christ created the world of old times, the primeval world. Krister is Christ, so yeah, the Nordic countries had already been Christianized when this was written down. I guess the Christianization of Sweden and Norway was about 900s, 1000s, more 1000s maybe. Scope created, skapa in Swedish, let's create. Heiman is the world, and it has to do with the word heim. That means home, actually. So why is home the same as, why is the meaning of home the same as world? I think they could have had the same meaning in the past. For example, one of the oldest poems and most famous poems from Old Norse mythology is called Heimskringla, because it starts with those words, Heimskringla. And it means the orb of the world. So Heim is the world, and Kringla is the orb around it. So yeah, from home, place of origin, it has also turned into the meaning of the whole world. Or maybe in the past it had more wider meaning of the world. Now it's more like home. In Old Norse, heimr meant realm, region. Yeah, something also very precisely within a walking distance from a thing, parliament. So the heim part of the world was where you could go and meet the parliament, and yeah, to have make laws and trials, perhaps. I'm not sure. So that was the heim. That was your small world in a way. So forna is old times. Forntid in Swedish. Primeval. Forntid, primeval time. Forna. Christ created the world, the primeval world. And hail is the coldest of seas. Next rune will be the one called Naud. simple shape. I intentionally carved this a bit smaller than the other ones because I figured out I would like to include all the remaining runes on this tablet. Even though I have more tablets, but I think it would look nice to have them collected on one tablet like this. And Naud, it means need. You can hear that. It still means the word is the same almost in English, but it's not need what you need. It's more like a plight, that kind of need. It's a difficult, hard situation again. A lot of the runes seem to have names about those topics, hard times. Maybe it has something to do with the climate in the north. I have no idea. And this one is a very simple shape, and it looked actually the same in the elder futhark as in the younger futhark mostly, but there were variations in the younger futhark, so it was even simpler. So this little twig here, we're pointing just to the right and not crossing the vertical line like this. And that changed, maybe happened around 6th, 7th century or something. AD, of course. And the sound value was N. It didn't change either. And the Icelandic rune poem goes like this. Naud þýjar þrá og þungur kostur och vasamlig verk. Þýjar, that's plural of thý, and thý is an Old Norse name for a bondswoman or bondmaid. Thra, still in Icelandic, means longing, yearning, struggle. So need is bondswoman's yearning or grief, struggle. Thungur, it's difficult, hard, and in Swedish it's still tung. So it corresponds well to Thungur in Old Norse. Kostur is a choice or circumstance, condition, state, alternative. And I can't see any connection to modern Swedish about that word. So, difficult circumstances. Vasamlig, that's toilsome. Verk is work, as you can hear. So, need is a bondswoman's yearning and a difficult circumstance and toilsome work. In Norwegian rune poem, it goes like this. Naudr gerer näppa koste nöktan käller i froste. Or nöktan käller i froste. Not sure how to pronounce that K. Need gives. Gerer is very similar to Swedish ger, gives. Näppa, that's little. And in Swedish we have an old word that is not used very much, but I have heard it in old literature, or I don't know. At least I've heard it, näppeligen. It means little in a way. You want to say that something is diminished. Näppeligen. So that comes from näppa, I guess. Koste is choice again. And now it's about something completely different. Nöktan is the naked, naken in Swedish. Nöktan in Old Norse. Naked in English. Käller will freeze. Cold could be derived from this root, maybe. Kyla, spelled with a K in Swedish. Cold. So will freeze in froste, in the frost. So I guess it's someone who is naked will freeze in the frost. So need gives little choice. The naked person will freeze in the frost. The next rune is an easy one. It hasn't changed over time either. It's is, representing the E, or modern I sound. Not much about that one, so I will start to read the Icelandic Rune poem about is now. Is árbergur och unnar þak och feigra manna fár. Ice, because is means ice, maybe I forgot to tell you that. Ice is actually árbergur, it's the bark of a river. So or ár is some kind of river, or an old word for river. And in Swedish we have a lot of different words for streams of water, and one of them is å, an A with a ring on the top, so it's more å than a, but maybe the sound has changed, of course. We know that the vowels in the Nordic, Old Norse and Nordic languages have changed a lot over time. So an å, it's only one letter, and it means a stream of water that is maybe medium wide. It's not the biggest ones, perhaps, and not the really small creeks or something like that. So that's an å. And berkur is bark, and in Swedish bark. So it's like a bark for the stream of water. Yeah, like cover, hard, something that has frozen into something solid. That's quite nice way to express it. Unnar is wave in Old Norse and Icelandic. Unnur, umr means wave. In plural, other in singular. but I haven't heard any similar word in Swedish meaning wave. Thak is thatch or roof, and that makes sense to me because in Swedish tak means roof. So thak. Feigra. Feigra is an interesting word because it's in Old Norse it means near to death or death doomed, and actually there has been new discoveries about the Rök Runestone in Sweden that I have seen really interesting videos lately about on Jackson Crawford's YouTube channel, where he discussed this with a professor from Sweden that I don't remember the name of right now. Yeah, Feigar actually means death doomed. They discussed that because this word is also on the Rök Runestone, a very famous runestone in Sweden. And I am not sure if it could relate to the modern Swedish meaning of the word feg. Feg is a coward. But I'm not sure if the meaning of a word can change so much over time. So the original meaning was near to death, fated to die, fey. So, and the modern word, the modern meaning in Swedish, coward, I have read that it's coming from German influence later. But who knows, maybe it has the same origin somehow. Manna is men in plural. Manna, also I think it's plural and genitive. Only man is plural and manna is old genitive form of this word. Far is downfall. In Icelandic, faur, I think when it's an apostrophe you should pronounce it in modern Icelandic, faur, not necessarily in Old Norse, but accident, anger, calamity. Yeah, but I can't see any connection to a Swedish word with that meaning. So ice is the river's bark and a wave's roof, and the doomed man's downfall. And the Norwegian rune poem about is goes like this. Is kolum bro breiða, blindan þarf að leiða. So ice column is cold, cold. It's the same word in English. Bro is bridge. In Swedish, it's still called bro. Spelled a little different, but yeah, same meaning. Breiða is broad. In English, quite similar. Even similar in Swedish, more similar in Swedish. Bred. So, yeah, blindan is the blind person. Blind, you can hear, and it's the same in Swedish. Þarf comes from the verb þurfa. It's an Icelandic verb, still, to require, to need. So this is another form, other meaning of the verb need. And þarf is first or third person singular past indicative active. verb form of this, of thurfa, I have read. So there were a lot of complicated grammar during this time, a lot of verb forms. Att leda, to be led, leda, lead, leda in Swedish. Att is still to, I mean, att leda in Swedish is to be led. So att we still use in Swedish in this, with this meaning. So ice is called a broad bridge. The blind person needs to be led. Next rune. I will start with the Elder Futhark version of this one. So it consists of two shapes, not connected, and that's quite uncommon in, or that's not possible in the younger Futhark. So then later it was changed into more simple form like this. When this, it's quite close to this shape, and actually there are more variations of this younger Futhark version. For example, on the Rök Runestone that I mentioned, it's only the twig to the right, like this. Just like the N rune. But even more common was it to just draw the left part of it, like this. So, and you could do this when this had become like standard, maybe in the beginning or during the Elder Futhark time. Maybe this slope was in the opposite angle sometimes, because you can see that on a lot of runes. But when once it was established, this direction of looking like this, then you could use the opposite direction like this to another rune. So that was what happened around 6th, 7th century, something. It got more stabilized, and you didn't need this complicated two shapes any longer. But this one changed also in sound. In the Elder Futhark it's called Geran, but we don't know if that's what's its name, because the Elder Futhark names are not recorded. In Younger Futhark it's called Ar or Or. So it's another A sound. So this was also a sound that developed into more like an O sound later. And this was another A sound that was more developed into more open sound. So also A and A sound. And then you will see that the E runes disappeared, and you have to replace them with other runes. And E, this letter, E in Swedish, could be represented by either the E is rune or the R rune. So it's the E sound lies a bit in between those two. It's an open sound. It's not like the closed vowel sounds like O, U. Not like those. This is the open vowel sounds. And Ar means year, and it's actually an old. The old meaning of year was not 365 days or 366 days or anything like that. From one, you see what I mean. It was more like a season of the year, and especially the harvest season, maybe the most important season. So it also had a meaning of harvest, abundance, plenty. So it's a good harvest year, probably, or a good harvest season, you call it a year. And also you can hear that year in the first millennium, maybe in the 500s, you still used the y sound before the e sound, so it's year. In Icelandic, the letter E actually still has the pronunciation ye. One of the two E's, it's one with an apostrophe and one without apostrophe, and one of them you still pronounce ye with a y before, or preceding the e sound. And it was the sound evolved like this, from ye to dropping the y in East Scandinavian languages like Swedish, for example. So here it was more e or a left, and not the y in the beginning. So then it became ar or I'm not sure exactly. Or, by the way, or is the modern Swedish word for year. Or, just two letters, a with the ring and r. And in English, the anglo-saxons took the year there, and there it became, in the English word for year, it's year. So there you still have the y sound preceding the vowel and then the r, and the vowel changed over time also. But the English word for year is more close to this Proto-Germanic, or I don't know what to call it, Old Norse or Proto-Germanic word for year. And I will read now the Icelandic poem for Ar. Ar gumna góði og gott sumar allgróinn akr. Harvest is gumna. Gumna is men's. Indefinite accusative genitive plural of gum. So gum is the root of the word, and then gumna is genitive plural, something accusative. But gum has the old meaning in Old Norse, man. You cannot hear it so much in Swedish. Maybe I've already talked about this. I mentioned brudgum, bridegroom, didn't I? So yeah, you have already heard it. Gumna góði. Godi is, I guess it has to do with the word good, adjective good, god in Swedish. The translation I have seen translated into bounty. But yeah, something that is good, I guess, is this meaning. Gott, there's good again. Gott is a form of good in Swedish, depending on the noun, if it's what type of noun it is. Sommar is summer, sommar in Swedish, so this is almost like English and almost like Swedish. Algroin means full grown. Growing is something that grows. You can hear grows. I mean, not grows, grow, the verb. And grow in Swedish. All, maybe it's all, comes from that. So all, grow, full grown. All in Swedish, still have for all. Acker is field. Acre is still used as how you can measure areas, I guess. In Swedish, åker. In Swedish, many A vowels have turned into O with this letter A with a ring over, unpronounceable. More like the English O, actually. O. Åker is a field, farming field in Swedish. So, the harvest is bounty, men's bounty, and a good summer. And a full-grown field. The Norse, or I mean the Norwegian poem, starts almost the same. Komna gode, get ek at år var frode. So the first line here, I don't need to repeat. Get ek at, I guess that. You still can say this. It sounds very Icelandic to me. Get ek, jag is I is jag in Swedish. There we have the j consonant before the vowel ak, and in Icelandic it's spelled eg, and in Old Norse it was spelled ek, but the e was you pronounced the j before preceding it, so jeg. It's still pronounced like that in Icelandic, I think, jeg, even though it's spelled with just e, chi. Get ek at, I get that, something like that. I say that, I guess that. Or in Old Norse means swift, ready, open-handed. I can't see any connection to a Swedish word there. Generous is a translation I've seen. Var is was, were, or var in Swedish as well, was. Frode. Frode is a name of a number of legendary Danish kings. So yeah, in many sagas, when they travel to Denmark, they meet King Frode. I think Frodo, the name Frodo derives from this, Frode. So, a year is men's bounty. I guess that Frode was generous. So yeah, the get is from geta, the verb geta, and it has a connection to the English word get, to take, to seize.